righty, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. Jimmy, since you're... Oh, this is from Kikatwa's recommendation, Ian McIlhany. And thank you again for the recommendation, Kikatwa's. 10 out of 10 phone calls for Mike today. Thank you so much. Have you seen that guy from Mumford and Sons embarrass Pelosi at her face at Oxford? Kikatwa's, thank you for that.
That was the guy from Mumford and Sons?
That's what Kikatwa says. Thank you, Kikatwa, for that hot tip. Modgon, thank you so much. Much appreciated for that. When Arabs were expelled from Spain, the Jews chose to go with Arabs as their history had shown they were always safe with Muslims rather than the Christian anti-Semites and their violence. Modgon, thank you so much. Hemkar, thank you very much for your generosity. Cornel West was meant to be a distraction for black voters. He was never intended for political office. Just another Democrat brainfuck. Oh, Tau manifest.
It was for black voters?
I don't think it's for black voters.
No, I think they thought he was.
6gen, thank you, 6gen. Modgon, thank you, Modgon. Vienticus Primate, thank you so much. Seaweed, thank you. Dan MK, thank you. I read that one already. Hemkar, thank you very much. PW Walker, thank you very much. The Mystery of Why. For a full breakdown and dismantling of wokeism, please visit themysteryofwhy.com. Wokeism exposed, religion is obsolete. Thank you for that recommendation. I will check it out. Jimmy, this guy doesn't actually know anything about Korea. Dan McDan, thank you, Dan. PW Walker, thank you so much. AED, any comics in your periphery who are on the cusp of abandoning the duopoly and joining the Jimmy Dore left? Maybe with a big enough social media nudge, perhaps Tompkins, Oswald, Regan, who is probably not left, but still. AD, thank you for the insight. Jimmy Dore fans fomenting community. Great show on Sunday. Easily could have gone for another hour. Jimmy was ready to go for another hour. You are right. Our good friends, Jimmy Dore fans fomenting community. Jimmy Dore, you should have Mark Passio on. He's a former high-level satanic priest blowing the whistle. Amazing work. Thank you for the guest recommendation. And back to Jimmy.
So guess what? You're not going to, maybe you will believe this. House GOP bill would give benefits to Americans in the Israeli army. The legislation would grant IDF soldiers the same protections as U.S. military personnel while they're on active duty. Hey, but what about American idiots fighting in Ukraine? Will they receive benefits? How about that? I don't know. Is this amazing?
Yeah.
GOP, baby. Huh? F the Americans living under bridges. They had their chance. Now it's a foreign country's turn. That's what this is. That's right. Your tax dollars not only fund the weapons, but the retirement funds for all the genocidal psychopathic snipers who like killing moms because they're slower. All right, here's a little bit of the story. A bill introduced in the House by Representative Guy Reschenthaler, oh boy, and Max Miller would extend certain benefits for Americans serving in the U.S. military to American citizens in the Israeli military. The legislation introduced on May 17th would give Americans in the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, protections under the Service Members Civil Relief Act and Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, or the SCRA protects U.S. service members from civil legal actions while they're on active duty and for up to a year after. So if you go commit crimes, that's what they're saying. You can't. Is that what this is?
That's what this is.
Is that what this is? Is that what civil legal actions while they're on active duty? Is that what this is?
When the crimes come out like they did with the other thing.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay. This act protects the civilian employment of active and reserve military personnel so they also can't lose their jobs. So if you get called up for duty and you're an American, you can't lose your job for that. So they're saying if you're an American and you go fight for Israel, you can't lose your job. Your employer can't get rid of you.
Was that old man that would try to give you a guilt trip like it's a veteran of your country that fought in Israel?
Over 20,000 American citizens are currently defending Israel Really? They're risking their lives for the betterment of our ally, said this Russian chancellor. He said in a statement, "Are you kidding me? Wow, we're even funding private military contractors like mercenaries. That's what we're doing."
Well, we always are. I mean, look, it's all... The main thing I didn't realize when I was first looking at this, Jimmy, was the thing about the protection from legal action.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how central that is. Because, look, it's all the same money.
Yeah. Shouldn't Israel be paying for this? Because it's just our money anyway.
Yeah, it's like the same as like, hey, these are Chuck E. Cheese tokens we give out. They have to spend them here. Don't worry about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Washington Post reported in February that an estimated 23,380 American citizens are serving in the Israeli military. Many are dual citizens who are already living in Israel. But first of all, dual citizenship is the biggest garbage I've ever heard in my life. I'm against dual citizenship. I don't know how you feel about it, Kurt, but I'm against it. How can you have loyalty to two different countries?
Usually it's for like work reasons, like to be able to work somewhere. Like some countries have. Canada, when I used to...
Why is it almost all the people... anyway, a huge number of people who work for the FDA have dual citizenships with Israel. Did you know that? All right, back to this. But as of November 2023, about 10,000 people living in the United States had traveled to Israel to report for duty with the IDF after receiving draft notices. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know you could get drafted in. That's interesting.
According to Responsible Statecraft, 21 American citizens serving in the IDF have been killed in Gaza, and one was killed in northern Israel near the Lebanon border. Reichenthaler said his legislation will ensure we do everything possible to support these heroes who are standing with Israel fighting for freedom and slaughtering children and targeting systematically innocent people. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, they're combating terrorism in the Middle East.
I mean, let's face it, that's all our conflicts, aren't they?
Yes. It's unclear what the chances are for Reichenthaler's bill to pass Congress and become law, but there is strong support for the Israeli military among House Republicans. For example, Representative Brian Mast, a Republican of Florida, is an IDF veteran who recently wore his Israeli uniform on Capitol Hill. Did you see that? This representative from Florida, an American congressperson, wore his IDF uniform on Capitol Hill, and he did not receive any backlash from his colleagues for showing up to work in the House wearing a uniform of a foreign country.
Okay, but he's from Florida, right? So I'm guessing it's a section where that's a significant voting block that actually makes more sense to me than waving Ukraine flags. Do you know what I mean? Because Florida, like, okay, he's going to get where he lives in Florida or whatever. I'm assuming Boca Raton or something.
So here is Representative Brian Mast. He tweets out, "As the only member to serve with both the United States Army and the Israeli Defense Forces, I will always stand with Israel. Talib's got her flag. I got my uniform. Global Day of Rage, my ass." There he is. There he is. Republicans have introduced a slew of pro-Israel legislation over the past few months to show staunch support for the Israeli slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza, including bills to impose harsh punishments on college protesters. One bill introduced by Representative Andy Ogles would send protesters to Gaza. Dennis Kucinich, he says no one should be entitled to any U.S. military service benefits unless they are fighting under U.S. command and control. Mr. Miller has lost sight of who he was elected to Congress to represent.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. He knows exactly who.
He knows exactly who.
He knows exactly who he sent to Congress to represent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ron Paul says 2 Republican U.S. representatives have submitted a bill that would extend the same benefits provided to U.S. military service members and veterans to American citizens who chose to serve in the Israeli military. This is at a time when the U.S. veterans find themselves out in the cold when it comes to getting the care and benefits that they were promised.
Yeah, I know. That's what are they going to get screwed over like American veterans, I hope? If we're giving them the same...
Ron Paul makes the good point that we shouldn't be upset about this because the U.S. soldiers serving in the IDF won't ever actually receive their benefits. I bet they do.
Yeah, I bet the ones. Another Walter Reed scandal.
I bet the ones serving in the Israeli army are the ones who are going to get their benefits, and not the ones who serve in the United States Army. Okay, over to Steph.
down a rabbit hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running the system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it, then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit